Right.
Republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And stay tuned. We have some announcements. Do we not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Board Chair Hawthorne, Superintendent Wells, members of the board. Today is April 22nd, Tuesday, 2025. Happy Secretary's Week to Miss Terry. The principal of the day is Penny Plate. The tax expectations for the week are recess expectations. The vocabulary word of the day is prideful. What I love most about Kessler is the people and how supportive they are. I like the fun field trips and how different they are from different schools. Be safe, be respectful, be responsible, be alert. Roar. Be safe.
Principal Penny, did you have any reports for the day? Anything new or exciting that happened that we should know about from the board?
Thank you, Gladys. Good week.
Would you rather wait for that? Okay, we can do that for sure. All right.
That was close.
All right, now is the time for general public comment on the public matters that are not on the agenda. Public matters do not include any legal matters, private personal issues, or private student issues. Please do not attempt to address such issues at this time. We will be ruled out of order. And just a reminder that the board cannot enter into a discussion during general public comment. Do we have any general public comment today? All right.
Maybe online.
Online canvas? No hands raised. Okay. All right. It looks like the principal for the year and the principal for the day are up next. Right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to Kessler Elementary School. Thanks for going through this farming, right? Kessler mentioned. So you have a board brochure, and I'm gonna kick us off, and then Penny Plate, my principal for the day, will also be helping us once we get to her spot. So before we get going, I'd like to introduce the staff members here at Kessler that are here. I don't know if they're here to make sure that I don't fall on my face, or maybe they're here to make sure Penny doesn't take my job officially. Okay, so maybe staff just wait. Can I call your name? Okay. By name, in no particular order. Mrs. Bertitelli, she teaches kindergarten. Ava Dunhop, first grade. Britt McMahon, special education. Jessica Pickens, first grade. Stephanie Van Horst, fourth grade. Megan Dolphy, fourth and fifth grade combo. Ginger Ratcliffe, librarian. Delaney Mullidu, third grade. They're hiding. They're fine. Michelle Ford, title instructional specialist. Micah Kemper, school counselor. Lindsay Rose, fifth grade. Hollywood Rock, second grade. Jessica Wester, third grade. Leanne Ewald, she is also one of our resource teachers here. And we have a couple honorary staff members. We have Millie Hampton, she's one of our job kids. You already met Millie. And Edie Irwin, she is also one of our job kids. And Millie Jones is here as a member of the community. And Miss Penny Plate, principal for the day. I'm Riley Thatcher, principal. This is my third year here at Kessler. So we're gonna go to, if you had the brochure, we're gonna go to the back side, what you see here. Kessler serving 238 students. We have 37 in 2 kindergarten classes, 38 in 2 first grade classes, 33 make up 2 second grade classes, 49 students in 2 third grade classes, with 1 fourth grade class with 26 students, a 4th and 5th grade combo at 25, and 5th grade at 30, for a total enrollment of 238. When we talk about, we dive a little deeper into who our kids are. We have 81 students receiving grade reduced lunch. Mrs. Kemper works really hard to get food packs out every Friday. Those go to 48 students. This new shoot program is pretty unusual. This started as an opportunity for some of our kids. There were about 10 to 15 students that got them the first year. And this year we handed out 118 shoes to our kids. And I say that because my gut tells me that that came from somebody in this small little community. We have people that support and love this whole group of kids. We currently have 41 students on IEPs, 54 receiving speech services, 8 on 504 plans, 11 receiving Indian education tutoring, 16 students are McKinney-Vento, so they are marked in transition, facing homelessness. We have 14 that receive CSCT services, and then we have 8 that are receiving after-school tutoring here with us right now. And that has really grown. We started off the year giving just a couple hours of tutoring, and it quickly quadrupled, and we just keep growing. Okay, so our jobs program. This is unique to Kessler. We feel that as a staff, we really work together, right? Not my kids, but our kids. And the kids kind of join in the same commitment. So these 47 students have jobs around the school. They may bring lunch boxes back to classrooms. They do the announcements every single morning. The principal's never there to help them. And they get it all done, which is incredible. And then let's see, what else do we do for jobs? Penny, do you want to share any other jobs you see kids doing outside?
After recess, they check for stuff that should go to the student out.
Yeah, they sweep the playground so that we don't have all of our lost and found items outside getting wet in our many winter months. So those kids all get to have a part of that field. The conflict managers are students who are selected, they apply and get selected to help solve problems out at recess. So they give up some of their recess time and/or they're successful in their class time, and they can support other students so that we are doing some good role modeling for other kids and growing as conflict managers ourselves. Book Pals, this was a program myself put on this year. We had 12 students receive Monday opportunities from volunteers in our community to read with an adult and grow in their literacy. Read Dog, we have a Read Dog come in, and our 3rd grade students get that opportunity. And then kids are just busy working. They compost. We're constantly recognizing the work that they do around the school through PAX assemblies as leaders. And then this year we're doing not only Toodle ticket drawings, but Granny Wacky prizes school-wide. So how can we make PAX more fun and more of a me commitment? So we have celebrated in growing our community and our respect for others as a team. And then we celebrate whole school instead of just in the classrooms, which is also happening. Okay. All right, let's flip to the grant dollars. So school funding seems to be a hot ticket item. And I think it is really important for us to recognize the hard work that goes into this building. These staff members in the last 3 years decided, what are we gonna do with not enough? So they have gone out and been awarded $30,810 in the last 3 school years. This year, that total was $17,272. So what are we doing with that? Well, I wish we could pay them more. but we can't do that with our grant dollars. So we are taking a letters training. So 14 staff members are taking a pretty intense science of reading training. They have had opportunities to work with the Holter Museum for movement through math. They have done a beauty shop, so they're finding that helping our students come in and feel successful, that look good, feel good. They are able to give them the beauty shop experience before they start their day. So kids are marching down to their classrooms feeling ready to go and successful. That was also a great thing. Grant funding has also helped with drums and mallets in our music classrooms over the last couple of years. Our third grade teachers have taken our kids to a downtown walking tour so that they're connecting to their Helena history and community. And then a weather station for those who are interested in being a part of that. And I want to make sure that Penny gets her opportunity. So I was really going to move to Connection, but I think I'd like to skip academics for now and let Penny share her part so that she can be excused when her ride gets here. That sound good, Penny? Okay.
So some things that I really like about Kessler is that they have really great teachers. For example, Miss B gives us pretty strict and specific things that we need to do to help us grow. Like the genre of books to check out online. Miss Western and Miss Jones are always really kind. And Miss Chickens shows her gratitude for the kids who are on task by giving them prizes. So it's nice to a playground isn't separated and everybody gets the same equipment. I've seen in some schools that schools that like this grade gets this area and this grade gets this area. And something that I found ironic is one time we spotted there's like a mountain lion spotted and also the mascot which is the same thing as a mountain lion. And we couldn't walk home because of our mascot. It's ironic. Some things that I'd like to change about our school is one, I'd like to have an AC. Two, a bigger gym, because indoor recess can get pretty fast. And if somebody is scared to perform, they can have a big stage and still have room to watch. Number three is something that my friend wanted. It's called a volleyball pit for outside at one of the other schools. They had one, and a lot of kids like to play in it. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Principal Penny.
Okay. I wanted Penny to join us today. She won Principal of the Day at our spring carnival. We do that every year, and we will go back into Connection, but we'll go to the action plan now and the academic pieces here at Kessler, unless you want to ask questions along the way. Should I keep going?
Okay, question here. Just gonna take two quick questions and thank you so much for letting the shoe program. That is, well, what is, how does that work?
Hold them on the spot. How does this program work? Here's what happened.
I can tell.
You want to tell us? Come on up, Mrs. Kemper, school counselor.
Hi, I'm Megan Kemper. So it's called Shoes That Fit. No idea how they started it. We had 15, then we had 30 something. Last year was 60 something. And this year the gal sent me and said, we need this 118. And I was like, that's a lot of feet.
Mhm.
And I have no idea. So she sends me a form. We just did like boom, 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 this many kids from each class. And then Miss Hoxie, one of our paras, and I measured all their feet personally. And then I came back after spring break and I think I had 6 or 8 boxes of shoes in my office. So then I just mix match and figure out which kid would, I know all the kids pretty well. So decide like this one will fit. And usually we do pretty well. We have a couple kids who like, they're girls and they want the sparkles, not the black, or we have boys that want ties and no ties, or don't know how to, So that's kind of how it works. I don't really know anything except for who I contact. And she lives in California. And then the shoe show. It's like a magic program. I think I told Riley, like, the day it happened, I was like, I have to measure 118 feet. That's a lot of feet. But we did it, and this year I had 2 shoes I had to like reorder, and they're coming. And she said, keep the ones you have, figure out what you want, and we'll send you 2 new pairs. So I have no idea, other than it's called shoes that fit. I don't know anything else. That's that for me.
That's like a secret Santa or something like that.
Huh?
It's like a secret Santa.
It really is, and it's straight on top of all the other things, so, and the kids love it.
No, that's great.
Yes. Okay, should we dive into academics? Let's do it. Okay, so I feel that I'm a new principal, right? You get to a school and you watch and you get to know the culture, who these people are that you're getting to know, and who are the kids and who are the families. And then you slowly grow into who are we and what do we want? And I feel like we have collectively taken the time to build culture. And I've shared that, right? Our kids. And this year, I feel like we took a big shift in that direction with academics. And what I mean by that is we started talking, and we've been goal setting and we've been action planning, but we started talking about how can we approach the school year, AKA massed assessments, and schedule technology and schedule all these massed assessments and maintain interventions for K2. So I have to give a huge shout out first to Britt McMahon and Michelle Ford. They are the organized ones. Please raise your arm, give just a little way. They need a ton of credit. That was a priority of theirs, and it took a lot of work. And my other shout out is to the staff. That meant that your intervention time maybe isn't the one that you really love. That intervention in the morning, of course, is more important. But we were able to maintain that without having to always cancel that in group that you hear so much about. So the school leadership team got together, and another ad we had this year was parents. So we added a couple of parents to our school leadership team last year, and then a third this year, and they've really been a part of our action. So at the beginning of the year, we take our iReady assessment and we set the goal to, by the end of the year, at least 90 first and fifth grade students will move a tier as measured in iReady. And then come winter benchmark, and actually I'm gonna back us up. Our math goal the year before was move 65 kids. And we met that goal. So we had to we had to shoot a little higher this year. And so then in the winter time, we were awfully close to meeting that math goal, and that's an end of the year. So that wasn't going to be just enough. I think we'll blow that goal out of the water. That extension you see there is, okay, we've set our main goal, and now we're going to really look at our tier 3 kids, and we're going to reduce it from 14% in the winter to 9% in the spring. That is our hope. And again, maintaining that intervention time, I think, is really going to serve that. ELA by the end of the year, at least 55 second to fifth grade students will move. This one, I'm honestly a little surprised. Some of that has not been like I don't know the exact amount of kids. So we weren't as close, right? But we were setting higher goals, and that felt good. One thing that I have noticed is iReady gives you not only proficiency, but also your growth. And so we were already over 50% growth at the winter benchmark. So I'm still absolutely hopeful that we'll meet that goal, but we did meet our other ELA goal by in Acadia. So our end of the year goal was to move 25 kids. We already met it. So we had to set a different end of the year goal. Well below benchmark, we're hoping to decrease by 10%. So that is our school action plan. When I look at our proficiency here, the last 2 years, I kind of gave you a 3-year view with the grant dollars, and I want to do the same for academics. Academics are a hot topic, and the last 2 years we have ended 10% higher proficient than the year before. So do I feel that we have a ton of work to continue to do? Absolutely. And there's so much to celebrate along the way. And I think these people never say, hey, we met our goal. Yay, we're done. Like, what more can we do? How can we continue to meet needs of kids? So that's where I think those grant dollars play in too. The science of reading training is really going to be excellent for us. And the other thing that we have been able to maintain is really getting into that math foundation, the core, and dabbling in some intervention time, but really taking Eureka in its full self, right? So this is the first year of Eureka, and the planning, the pre-planning to avoid disruption has really allowed our kids to get the most in their academic pieces this year. Okay. Let's see. I think we're about done with my brochure. The connection piece, Penny shared some of her things that she loves about Kessler School. That came from the Spring Carnival. It is one of our bigger events of the year, but I think the highlight in our community events this year, a lot of them are the same. So open house is something, of course, we always do. We start the year with youth families. The Number Sense backpacks, you saw those, some of you saw those on the tour. That is, again, it's a family engagement way for us to build number sense at home. So really tapping into our greatest resource, the parents. And so that was started last year and has continued this year. But the big highlight, I think, at Kessler for the engagement is Parent College. That was new this year. That came from an SLT discussion. So we had Parent College 101 in the fall. And these fun people behind you, or in front of you, behind me, they put together learning opportunities for our families. So they actually taught our parents how to map words, how to map their spelling words, because we were often hearing they're coming home with all this homework and it's not how I learned it. And so it was really important to them to build that connection for families and help our parents feel more confident supporting their kids. And they also did some math instruction at that Parent College and some PAX ideas as well. Am I missing any topics, you guys, from 101? Ms. Ratzlaff, what did you do in your Parent College?
We did library resources.
Library resources. So connecting all of those pieces. Parent College 201 is next week. If any of you are hoping to learn a little bit about summer resources. So this one's really going to be about math games, fluency games to do at home, some nature ideas outside with Mrs. Wester. Mrs. Kemper, school counselor, she's going to actually put on a 1 hour transition for our 5th grade families as they're transitioning their students this year. So how can we connect with our families? We already do that and we love doing that. And this year we really took it to the academic focus and it's been a big celebration. And I think on that note, the teachers all, whether they're preparing and presenting to those or just coming to our events, they always make it a priority, even with their very busy lives and very busy families at home. So when I am done, I want them to know that they absolutely don't have to stay for all the business, but they are so very appreciated and they do amazing work for kids. Yep. Question?
If you have one.
I have one, it's a comment, the Parent College 101 and 201, we just started that this year. And how many parents, I'm just curious, attended?
Well, we're really good about taking attendance at parent nights and some are harder than others. I think that when we had 25, I honestly can't tell you if it was parents or families. We provided childcare. The National Honor Society students and peer mentoring at Capitol High came and helped and we provided childcare. And then we did a little drawing, so we had some families walk out the door with some gift cards, but they ranted and raved about it. And I have to tell you, spring is busy and I was ready to take it off their plates. Like, I don't know, let's put together like a digital one. It's okay to not put on another event. And they're like, no, we're doing it. We said we're doing it and we're excited to do it. So
I'm hoping this next one will be even better.
What day is it?
That is the 29th, next Tuesday, 5:30 to 6:30. You are more than welcome.
Seems like a great idea, yeah.
There's gonna be a John.
Well, I have a comment and a question, I'll start, yeah, go for it.
That mic is a little hard to pick up, so I have to speak up just a bit so that people can hear it.
You gotta ask, what is a granny wacky prize?
Grilling you. Well, grading record prizes are like, we'll do something good, or our teachers can say like, okay, so we do spleens, like if we're off task or we're talking, we get a spleen. And if we're on behavior and we're going beyond, above and beyond, we get, like if we're all working as a team, we get, a grading record prize. Yeah, my teacher, she'll do, like she'll say, okay, we'll do 10 minutes. And if you get over 3 spleens, then there's no granny wacky prize. But if you get under 3 spleens or at 3 spleens, you can get a granny wacky prize. And you pull out of the bag, and they're just these little fun things we can do, like singing happy birthday as a dog, or just fun little things we can do. My teacher, she does, beat the timer, and it's a time when we have to get books, gather our books, for math. And if we don't beat the time, we don't get a granny wacky prize. But there's always more times to do it in the day, like putting it away or getting it again. Friday.
Girls. So the granny wacky prizes are part of the PACS program. The purpose is to reward behavior, on-task behavior, and get them to a place where they're excited and dysregulated, and then come back down and pump the brakes and get right back to learning. So in the classroom, it looks like singing happy birthday like a dog. Or there's maybe a less disruptive one, like sitting backwards in a chair. And school-wide, we have 2 that they pick from. Sometimes it's chalk outside. Thursdays is dress like a principal. This week, I don't know what they'll do. Coffee in hand, I'm sure. We've done sunglass days, just another way to incorporate PACS.
Interesting comments and questions.
Thank you so much for being here.
And I've really enjoyed your assistance. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any comments or changes on the consent action items? All right, and is there a motion for the consent action items? Sure. A motion by trustee Key, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by trustee Sapp. Any further comments? Any public comment before we vote? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion. Vision. Mr. Franco.
So as Mr. Frank is working his way up, imagine that Vizel will probably be here for questions as well. Remember 2, 3, 4 years ago that we were a little surprised in the information that where we had to make decisions of board approval on healthcare insurance. And so this is an effort to update the board, continue to update the board on the progress of our health insurance. This is a particular of interest here because we broke things apart, we went out for RFPs. Remember, there's, excuse me, there were ways in which we're trying to manage the escalating healthcare costs. The House Bill 332, looking at a 340B federal qualified pharmacy plan, and then also just really taking action within our own self-funded plan. And so that's what Mr. Franco and the Health and Benefits Committee has been up to. A lot of work as of late. You have one trustee that sits on that committee as well, and has done a really nice job of updating us during, especially the negotiations. I thought the summary that you provided, Satri, was well done and knowledgeable of the events in which we face. I'm anxious to hear where we're at with the RFP process. So, Frank, it's yours.
Thank you, sir. Well, glad to be here. As Mr. Walt said, we are definitely want to make sure you guys have all the knowledge possible going into June. We don't want you guys to be super surprised on everything. So we're gonna go ahead and kind of start going through this. I'm just gonna give you guys some tidbit notes and everything. If you guys want to ask questions as, from one page to the next, please do so. Okay. So we went out to bid, RFP, request for proposal for medical, dental, and vision. We did, pharmacy as well, but that's being handled with a different, vendor right now. So we'll kind of go through that, towards the end. But right now, we have the two finalists that we interviewed this last Thursday was Allegiance and Blue Cross Blue Shield. We ended up having 4 other ones. First choice, EBMS, which is also Imagine 360, Pacific Source, and Luminaire Health, all out, also put in bids. Allegiance and Blue Cross, definitely by far and away, were the most competitive, the biggest networks and the better discounts within their network. So we did have the interviews all done with all the vendors on Thursday. We had follow-up questions. Those questions went out yesterday and they are due back by all these vendors by the end of the day tomorrow. Next one, question so far. Dental vendors, came down the last 2 was Delta Dental and Emeritus. They're pretty good, both of them. It's hard in Helena and the committee's face this challenge is trying to find a network because there's a lot of dentists that don't want to be a network, quite frankly. And so trying to find a vendor that can help bridge the gap, that has a lot of vendors, at least more than what we obviously don't have now. And then also bridge the gap as going forward. So one of the things the committee's talked about is one of the biggest things I get a lot of the last couple of years is we get members that come to me and say, Franco, we got teeth cleaning at $30. And, we used to cover that 100%. Yes, we did, but we had a network. We don't have a network now. So there's things that these two can do to help us navigate that. So even if they went to an out-of-network provider, we could potentially have those teeth cleanings covered at 100%, just with the way we work with our dental schedule. So that was one of the big factors in going with these two in the finalist interview. The other ones were Allegiance, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aflac, and IMED. They just didn't have as big of networks and their costs were a little higher. So this was kind of a win-win situation coming down to these two. So we're curious to see how those follow-up questions will unfold. Then the vision, this one was interesting. We had, besides these two, we had Delta, Allegiance, and Blue Cross Blue Shield as well. Once again, Emeritus and BSB came out on top with financial and networks. Unique thing about Emeritus that I really liked, and sounds like the committee likes, is they actually have BSP's network and IMED's network. So they have the few vision optometrists that won't be in one network will definitely be in another. I feel like they have the best range. Definitely was really impressed with them and the interviews. We did have some follow-up questions with them as well. So like I said, once we get those back, we'll review those as a committee and go from there. Questions so far, okay? So now we're gonna get to the meat of a timeline here. So the next one is We did go out RFP for the pharmacy RX, and as Mr. Walt said, this is definitely probably the biggest one, I would say, out of all of them. And the reason why is we off the top are gonna save at least $300,000 to $400,000 just by going RFP and getting these contract negotiations done. So that's a positive. There is potential through the 340B federal government program saving even way more than that, right? So that's the things that the fund committee gets to look at. We are actually having the proposals due by the end of the day. So I'm gonna give you a list of who's all submitted proposals so far for the day up till now. But one thing I want you guys to note is, you know, when we went out to RFP, we actually had traditional and 340B. So, you know, they can, you know, some of these guys can do on both. They only want to quote on one, but we definitely encourage them to quote on both because we need to see what it looks like on both sides of the spectrum, right? So I feel like the committee is going to do a really good job there. Right now, we have Navitus, Right Way, Blue Prime, Express Scripts, which is our current incumbent, Proact, and Welldyne are all the ones that have submitted proposals right now. So once the Prism Health gets those proposals together, we're going to have a review on May 9th, where they'll go through who the top ones are. And as usual, there's usually the top 2 or 3 always comes out, you know, Cream Cup rises to the top. Once we do that, then we'll end up having a committee vote on, are we doing interviews with these 2 or 3 or all of them? Maybe they're close. I doubt it, but we'll see. And then we're gonna also, you know, you never know also. I mean, one of them could come in and blow your socks away and might not need an interview, right? We're hoping that with medical, dental, vision, but if I didn't get there, but well, I think we're in a good spot. But then once we do the finalist interviews, we'll kind of be right where we are right now with medical, dental, and vision. It was really important to kind of stagger these because this was so important. We didn't want to get mixed in with the medical, dental, and vision. We wanted to stagger both of them. So that's why you're seeing that nice little overlap, which will kind of crunch the timeline for the committee. On the next slide, you will see the committee's little timeline that I will send out to them tomorrow. Okay, so don't worry. So right now, medical, dental, vision, we're gonna try to have that wrapped up and decided on by next Tuesday, Wednesday. You know, we'll have all the final scoring and everything done by then. And then once that happens, I'll be sure to give you guys all the information, the reasonings on why these vendors were selected, and kind of give you guys a good prep there. The next one, the RFP decision, we're gonna try and engage around the 21st, 23rd of May, somewhere in there. Which, you know, will be a pretty good timeline, I feel like. And what that'll do is that'll help me be able to run the premium. So when we get to the final, I want to give you guys a little background. And when we get to the RFP finalist interviews, once the committee selects the 2, 3, whoever we're going to interview, I'll be able to take those costs that they give us in their proposals, and we can run insurance premium. So I can't really do that now. I'm gonna have to wait until we get to that May 9th area. That'll give me time, work with the Alliance and their actuaries again, and we'll kind of go from there. And that'll give us time to try and kill 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. So that way we can have the insurance premiums decision within that week as well. Then obviously you guys will get to do your vote on the 10th of June. I promise you I will do my best to have everything, all your answered questions up till then, especially with this quick of a timeline going on. So, any questions? So I have a little update. I know that you'll probably ask about. So one of the projects I was also working on, and you know this wasn't on the slide, is looking at the actuary value of plans. And so I listened to you, I promise. So that project is about wrapped up, and I'm actually gonna have the guy I'm working with present to the committee here in the next, in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We're gonna try and get a date together. And basically, it's just looking at our plans on our actuarial values in comparison to the marketplace. So just so you guys have some quick information numbers, our average employee age right now is 46.3. That's on the health plan. Our average overall age, if you're to include dependents, is around 34. But we look at the average age of employee, because that's where your benchmark's gonna be. If you look at that on a medical option 2, compare it to the best gold plan they have in the marketplace. Plans are similar. There are some nuances that there are pros and cons of both plans, I say. Like on ours, we have lower copay structure through St. Peter's Never Never program. But on the flip side, the copay structure they have on the marketplace, that goes to anybody, right? It doesn't matter if it's a St. Peter's provider. So, you know, like I said, those are little pros and cons, but all that to say is we are literally within less than 1% of what that is on the average age of 46.3. So that was good to see. We are also going to go over what a silver plan is going to look like if we decide to implement one of those as one of our 2 options. Like Trustee McKee has stated before, it will help alleviate some of the cost burden on the district's health fund, but it also will be about $90 cheaper per month for an employee. That's pretty big savings when you're talking about costs right now. Everybody would like to save a few bucks, right? So, so those are the things we are definitely going to be looking at and going through when we go through this report. So, yeah. And I'll keep you up to date on that as well.
I mean, just, I know it's very preliminary, but, you know, healthcare costs seem to go across the country. Are we looking at another big
So
increase for our employees?
So the trend percentages right now, I haven't had the committee vote on yet. And the reasoning is like I said, it's gonna make a difference in this RFP process. For example, admin fees. I don't know the cost for the admin fees, so I can't sit there and tell the committee like, look, you know, we're actually gonna save a couple percent here. So that'll offset this potential cost, but, you know, Allegiance and Alliant haven't gave me the final trend percentages numbers yet, but they are looking around an 8-9% medical, increase. So that doesn't always, that's a national number. Just keep that in mind. That doesn't always play into ours. We always go a couple percent lower. But once we get those numbers, also the committee will have it. And if Kay wants to pass it along, absolutely, I can always send it to you guys as well. Yeah, but we're getting there. It's that's all that's going on. Yeah.
Would you just remind us, what was it last year? The percentage?
So it's like 11%. It was a little higher, yeah.
Are there any plans to offer a high deductible plan?
The committee has looked at that. There is probably not going to be that option for this upcoming year. There's just a lot of little nuances in that as a self-funded plan that we would have to navigate. So right now, that's not something with everything going on, that's not something that they're going to look at. The best thing that they're going to do right now is, like I said, try and implement 2 different plans where one's more of a silver plan, one's more of a gold plan. Then we're actually looking at Allegiance is trying to get, so our Never program, because it's St. Pete's providers right now. It's kind of been hard for some of the employees because they're going to like Partners Pediatrics, the ENTs and so forth. So they are working with Helena OBGYN, Helena ENT and Partners of Pediatrics, trying to get them into that tier 1 program, which would be amazing. Right now, I think on the Partners of Pediatrics, they're waiting for their board to make a decision because they obviously have to come down in their costs a little bit on when they submit the claims. So, you know, we'll see how that progresses. But, so we're trying to get more people involved with that as well. So, and then we're also going to look at, Kay doesn't know this yet, but we're going to actually look at, with our health plan, maybe customizing it a little different. One of the ideas is we could potentially go to more of a current model and do away with deductibles and do just co-insurance straight off the bat till they meet their max out of pocket. Part of the issues right now we have also is we have low utilizers of the plan. And if they go to the doctor one time, Partners Pediatrics, for example, they get a $240 bill. They have to pay that up front because they gotta meet their deductible. We didn't have a deductible, we did a co-insurance, then they don't pay 30% of that. So the low utilizers would still benefit. And then the high utilizers would still benefit from the max out of pocket issue. So gonna have to look at what the costs are gonna look like, especially with little tweaks in our plans like that. Something that I'll be going through with the actuaries at like.
Just from a bigger picture, this might not be in your wheelhouse. What is it looking like with HB 332? Is that looking like an option for us or?
It's till we see financials, that's a hard part, and I think,
You're right, August.
sometime in August is when they're gonna have the financials out. Until we see that, I know the promises that we've heard, from being in this industry as long as I have, it's not feasible. It doesn't look feasible, so they have to find a vendor or a TPA or someone that will actually be able to perform these functions at those low admin rates that they are trying to say they're gonna get. Until all that happens, it's all speculation, right? So in August, when we get the information, one of the projects, Alliant will be helping me with is we will dive into those financials on what the pros and cons will look like for the district. And then from there, what is it gonna look like for our employees? I mean, our employees are such a valuable piece to this community. And we want to make sure that it makes sense to them as well. We don't want to do a disservice and say, wow, it's going to be cheaper for everybody. Let's do it. And then yet they're paying way more out of pocket. Things aren't going better for them per se. So we wanted to kind of go through every avenue. So when we come to a decision, the committee looks at it. They can come to you guys with full faith and say, like, we looked in every cranny corner, and then this is what we got.
That'll be a pretty quick turnaround.
Yep.
We'll believe that we're gonna get those numbers in August. They'll have a 60 to 70-day window in which we need to make a decision. And so they need to know by November, and then go date would be either July or our renewal date, which is October, I would believe.
Yeah.
And so we've run our contract out. If we decided to go with 332,
Yep.
then we'd run out to renewal date and start in with that. But it'll give us just
Yep.
60 to 70 days of really diving in and making sure it works for us.
Right.
So what would be the start date if we didn't go? That'd be the 26th.
If we didn't go that
What
route,
you did.
oh, if we did go that route,
Yeah.
it would be,
Good.
well, numbers in August,
Yeah.
make the decision November, and then the effective date wouldn't take place until October of the following that year, because that's when our renewal date is. That's when our insurance comes off.
So, yeah, so it will be a quick, like you said, a quick turnaround, but we will have all hands on deck, so
To help us with that decision, remember, everybody wants piece of pie.
right.
And so when we have USI, we did some work with them. They're gonna have numbers for us. We'll look through the lens, the knowing that they also want our business. And that's what this is about. And so we'll look at their numbers. We'll look at HB 332 numbers, and then we'll do our own dive at it. And so we'll take all three of those, lay it on top of each other, and then do the analysis if it works for us or not. I should say that Mr. Franco and committee will be doing that work to let us know if it's gonna work or not. So, it'll keep all of us informed.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
Nikki, one more, or not, maybe one more for sure. I'm going, really appreciate all this work and I'm glad to hear that we'll have our own silver plan to look at, so we can look at apples to apples. And probably HB 2 will come back to something like that, so it'll be good to see how we compare. And I don't know if the entity that grew out of HB 2 does this. It's pretty common for insurance companies, larger ones, to invest in the stock market.
the money is not coming out, you know, like it's not being paid out. And in the before times, that was a good idea, but I would like to know if they do that before we make a decision about.
Yeah,
And here we don't.
right.
So I would want to
If
make
we
it,
had that much excess,
yeah, are they
it'd
big
be-
enough to,
yeah, right. No, I don't. Oh, it's funny you asked that because there was actually a few nuances that I've talked with Mr. Clerk about with the line, about trust. So they successfully run one of the longest and biggest trusts in California, and successful. So they have a lot of experience in it. So they are really, I'm excited for them to help us with this since they have so much expertise in it. And some of those things that he was talking about, those are things that we're gonna dive into. And like I said, there'll be pros and cons on the whole list, and they'll actually probably help be up here with me to kind of answer some of those deeper questions as well. So you guys will have more than just me, I promise you.
I believe we have not walked this through yet, excuse me, that I think the process will be getting numbers, doing the dive. The committee will make a recommendation to the board. The board will make a final call on that, right? So it won't be myself or the committee. The board will need to take action, as far as I see how this will be affected and implemented. So at that point, the committee will have the recommendation to me that I'll take to the board.
Yep, yep, and like I said, it'll come with all the bells and whistles, all the information.
I would like to have that information in a couple of formats, probably early if at all possible.
Yeah.
This board cannot see it for the first time the
Right.
night they're gonna vote on it.
Yeah,
So,
no, what the goal is, just to kind of give you guys what we're looking at is the moment we get financially released, Alliance is just gonna dive into it right in there, and we're just gonna hit the ground running. That's honestly, with that short of a window, it's the only way to do it. You try and stagger it out like we're doing with the RP, it's not gonna work. So, we'll definitely have all the information resolved for you guys. There's gonna probably be questions, obviously, that the committee will have. I'm gonna try and keep all you guys in the loop as well through the whole process, just so that way you guys can expect presentation from us at a certain point. That way you guys do have a lot of time to munch it over and ask questions of your own before you guys make that decision.
Thanks, Rich.
Yeah,
thank you.
you're welcome. Thank you, guys.
All right, any more comments before we adjourn?
I got a couple at the end. See if the trustees have any before me.
It's you.
Just me? Ms. Riley? Ms. Thatcher, thank you. Thank you, staff, for being here. Usually kids are out, buses are gone, teachers got some work to do and they're ready to go home. So sticking around means a lot. Thanks for being here and thanks for the work that you do. 3 years, you're no longer a newcomer, by the way. I heard the comments. You've been around 3 years. We appreciate the work that you've done, Kessler. We are bargaining, is that correct, Ms. Sean? Jane, 29, 30, 31? 28, 29, 30? Yes, right, next week?
Yes, next week.
Yes.
Tuesday, Wednesday.
And it is going well. We are, I think we're progressing, having Diane Groves here in the platform around consensus base, and having Diane lead us through that has really changed over the last couple of years. So we're thankful. We're actually pretty excited to get back together. And I believe we have 3 days scheduled, but we're hoping that we have it done in a day and a half. All right, 2. 2. So we have a third just in case. Other than that, things are going well, a lot on our plates, but, and as we've heard, spring comes at us fast. We're talking vigilante parade, Barb and I have to go do some, float approvals this week. We have that next Friday, and obviously proms, have taken place, and now, graduation's in talk, so spring's happening. Thank you for all your efforts.
Thank you, Superintendent Wells. Any further comments? All right, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.